Targaryens, they're incestuous aliens and tyrants.
2026 is shaping up to be one of the biggest TV years we've seen in a long time. Franchises are returning, final seasons are landing, and a few shows on this list could completely dominate the conversation the moment they drop. From Westeros to superheroes, legacy reboots to dark new originals, these are the shows everyone will be talking about.
With a little imagination, the impossible seems possible.
Here are the 10 TV shows about to explode in 2026, counting down from 10 to the one series that could take over the year. Number 10, Crystal Lake, release TBA, Peacock. This one earns its spot because it isn't just revisiting Friday the 13th, it's rebuilding the legend from the ground up. Crystal Lake goes back before the mask, before the myth, and centers on Pamela Voorhees, long before she became horror's most infamous mother. That shift alone changes everything. Instead of leaning on nostalgia, the series is positioning itself as a slow-burn character study, wrapped in slasher tension. A 24's involvement signals something darker, quieter, and more unsettling than a standard reboot. This isn't about body counts first, it's about grief, obsession, and how a place becomes cursed. By focusing on atmosphere, psychology, and the origins of fear itself, Crystal Lake feels less like a remake and more like a reinvention. And if it lands, it could redefine what legacy horror looks like on television. Number 9, Love Story, February, FX. This entry earns its spot not just because of the romance, but because of who is telling the story. This is Ryan Murphy stepping into prestige, historical drama territory, focusing on the intensely public and deeply fragile relationship between John F. Kennedy Jr. and Carolyn Bessette Kennedy. Rather than playing like a glossy biopic, this series is shaping up to examine what happens when love collides with fame, legacy, and relentless media attention. The casting alone signals a serious tonal shift, with Sarah Pidgeon and Paul Kelly anchoring the story, supported by Naomi Watts as Jackie Kennedy. What makes Love Story compelling is its inevitability. We know how it ends, but the tension comes from watching how pressure, privacy, and expectation slowly erode something that once felt untouchable. It's intimate, tragic, and designed to spark conversation the moment it airs. Number 8, Rooster, March, Max. This one makes the list for a very simple reason. Steve Carell, Bill Lawrence, and HBO is a combination that almost never misses. Rooster leans into character-driven comedy rather than punchline overload, built around messy adults, bruised egos, and the kind of humor that slowly sneaks up on you before it hits hard. Bill Lawrence's track record speaks for itself. He excels at mixing comedy with sincerity, and this project looks positioned to do the same. Carell isn't chasing his old sitcom persona here. This feels closer to his later career sweet spot, flawed, funny, and quietly reflective. Add in a stacked supporting cast, a college set backdrop, and HBO's willingness to let shows breathe, and Rooster has real potential to turn into one of those, wait, why isn't everyone watching this? Hits. Number 7, Malcolm in the Middle, Life's Still Unfair. April 10th, Hulu.
Spend the rest of your life hiding and denying your family even exists.
Worked perfectly until they showed up.
This revival earns its spot because it understands exactly what made Malcolm in the Middle work in the first place. Controlled chaos, brutally honest humor, and a family dynamic that never pretended to be wholesome. Life's Still Unfair doesn't try to reinvent the show or modernize it beyond recognition. Instead, it picks up decades later and asks a simple question. What happens when you grow up, but your family absolutely doesn't? Seeing Malcolm as an adult with a child of his own instantly flips the original premise on its head, while Hal and Lois remain the same unstoppable force of dysfunction. The limited 4-episode format is a strength here, keeping the story tight, nostalgic, and focused. More of a sharp reunion than an overextended comeback. Number 6, Outlander, Season 8, March 6th, Starz. Even after more than a decade on the air, Outlander still earns a spot this high because it refuses to coast on nostalgia. Season 8 isn't just another chapter, it's the final one, and everything about it carries that weight. This season is positioned as the true end of Claire and Jamie's journey, pulling threads from the later novels while shaping a conclusion that works for television. What keeps Outlander compelling this late in its run is the emotional investment. The romance still matters, the stakes still feel personal, and the show's blend of historical drama, time travel, and character-driven storytelling remains unmatched on premium TV. Season 8 isn't about escalation, it's about resolution, and that makes it must-watch for longtime fans. Number 5, Paradise, Season 2, February 23rd, Hulu. Season 1 of Paradise came out of nowhere and immediately proved it wasn't just another post-apocalyptic thriller. It blended political intrigue, sci-fi mystery, and character-driven drama in a way that felt deliberate and dangerous. By the time the finale hit, the show had completely reshaped what the story actually was. Season 2 arrives with momentum most new shows never get. The mystery is wider, the world is bigger, and the power dynamics inside the bunker are no longer hidden. With Sterling K. Brown back at the center and Dan Fogelman doubling down on long-form storytelling, this season looks positioned to move from breakout hit to full-on prestige drama. If Season 1 was the setup, Season 2 is where everything detonates. Number 4, Bridgerton, Season 4, January 29th, Netflix.
It is all very well to dream, but Benedict, life is meant to be lived.
Few shows dominate pop culture the way Bridgerton does. Every season becomes an event, not just a release, and Season 4 is shaping up to be one of its most anticipated yet. This time, the spotlight shifts to Benedict Bridgerton, finally stepping into a leading role fans have been waiting years for. What keeps Bridgerton so powerful isn't just the romance, it's the formula. Lavish production, addictive storytelling, and characters that feel engineered for obsession. The split release only fuels conversation, speculation, and non-stop binge cycles. With seasons 5 and 6 already locked in, this franchise isn't slowing down. It's evolving into Netflix's most reliable cultural machine, and Season 4 looks ready to prove exactly why. Number 3, House of the Dragon, Max. By this point, House of the Dragon isn't building toward chaos anymore. It's standing right at the edge of it. Season 3 is where the Dance of the Dragons stops being political tension and fully becomes all-out war. Alliances are locked in, bloodlines are fractured, and every major character is now choosing a side that will cost them everything. What separates this series from most fantasy television is its patience. The show earns its violence through slow-burning power struggles, moral compromise, and deeply personal betrayals. Dragons may dominate the marketing, but the real spectacle is watching a dynasty destroy itself from within. With the story officially mapped toward an ending, this season feels less like setup and more like the point of no return for Westeros and for everyone still fighting to control it. Number 2, The Boys. Season 5, April 8th, Prime Video. By its final season, The Boys isn't pulling punches, it's lining up the knockout. Season 5 is the endgame, and everything the show has been building toward finally collides here. Homelander is no longer flirting with power, he has it. The systems meant to control Supes are gone, and the line between celebrity, politics, and outright tyranny has fully collapsed. What makes this season feel dangerous isn't just the scale, but the freedom. With no future seasons to protect, no one is safe. Alliances will break, characters will fall, and the satire that once felt exaggerated now lands uncomfortably close to reality. Eric Kripke has promised an apocalyptic finish, and for a show that thrived on escalation, that promise feels earned. This isn't just a finale, it's a reckoning. Number 1, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, January 18th, Max.
As honor deserted the noble houses of Westeros!
This takes the top spot because it represents something Game of Thrones hasn't done before. Quiet, grounded storytelling inside a massive world. A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms trades dragons and wars for character, honor, and consequence. Dunk and Egg aren't shaping history yet, they're surviving it. And that smaller scale is exactly why it works. Set decades before House of the Dragon, The series leans into George R.R. Martin's most human stories. Dunk is imperfect, honorable to a fault, and constantly in over his head. Egg is curious, stubborn, and far more important than he realizes. Together, they move through a Westeros that feels lived in, cruel, and intimate. With only 6 episodes, there's no room for filler. This isn't spectacle first fantasy, it's storytelling first. And that's why it feels special. And that's the list. Some of these shows are built on massive worlds and long-running franchises. Others are smaller, riskier swings. But all of them have one thing in common. They feel intentional, not rushed, not algorithm-made.
Intentionally hiding himself from this family for years.
By comparison, Reese looks pretty good.
This year isn't about how much content we're getting. It's about which stories actually earn your time. And if even half of these deliver on their promise, it could be one of the strongest TV years we've had in a while. Let me know which one you're most excited for, or which one you think shouldn't be on the list at all. And if you want more breakdowns like this, you know what to do.